Preparing. Setting up. Done redirecting. Yes. So welcome everybody. This is Gidon Ariel, and we have with us today Armando Rusti. I don't know why I'm mispronouncing that. Armando Rusty. And that's him. And J. Dave Pitcher, who is video otherly abled today, and Al McCarn, who is in the great reception state of North Carolina. Did I get you? Get that all right?
Well, South Carolina, but we're
South
close.
Carolina. Okay. Sometimes South is close to North. And of
Well,
course, I'm Gideon
yeah,
Ariel coming to you from Israel, from my home office in Har Hebron, in the Hebron Hills. And we actually have a quorum. The three of you guys I'm very grateful that you guys show up. It makes me feel good. And maybe some other people will show up as well. But I think we're going to get through this pretty quickly. So let us not waste any time. I will prepare what we've got. Yeah, so this is our meeting. We call to order as we have in the past. One second, this is supposed to be closed. The board of directors of this corporation affirmed their consent in writing with respect to the resolutions described below. As you remember, we will do that at the end. This document was prepared by the CEO and circulated by WhatsApp amongst all directors in the advisors group. And in this case, it was discussed in detail via Zoom. The Zoom meeting is being recorded and will be available at board meetings. I hopefully will remember to update that. And its agenda items were approved following this Zoom meeting that were held on Tuesday, March 25th at 7 p.m. Israel time, 12 noon Texas time. Armando, I'm not sure which time zone you're in, but nobody, and neither Dave
Texas time.
nor Al are in Texas.
Texas
Are you in
time. Yes.
Texas? You're in the Texas time. Okay, so we got
I,
four
I
out
said
of
about four
four
Texas time.
time zones. With your permission, Al and Dave, I will not put other time zones here. Okay,
that's all right.
so Armando, Dave, and Al are here. No other guests. Gidon is here, but no other guests are. Somebody's already came in over here. Let us get rid of these people because they're not here. If anybody else shows up, we will add them. And my other four people have not showed up either. If we don't have a quorum is 40%. And I figured it out that in order to make this go faster, I'll just have both paragraphs there and delete the one that is not applicable. Since three board members or more are present, this activity is an official board meeting. If there had not been such a quorum, this would have been informal action, and so therefore this we are deleting. Our agenda: review our expenses to date, review a snapshot of the balances, review a report of the activities of 2025, and introducing the Holocaust Autobiographies Project. Of course, if anybody's anything to add or question, please raise your hand or just shout out. The board shall review and approve the expenses Q1 tab of the following document. Note the expenses and income are not audited. Here is the document that we are reviewing. Come on, computer. Wrong tab. No, right tab. They just open up both at the same place. These are the expenses. I spent a lot of time today. My assistant, and here comes Russ. We will invite him in as well as soon as he arrives. And there he is. Hello, Russ. Russ is our newly invited informal advisor. I don't call it an informal advisor. I call it a advisor. So thank you for showing up. What we will be doing is reviewing finances, reviewing activities, and talking about something new that's going to be happening, Bezrat Hashem. Okay, Russ, you're still totally quiet and covered, so I don't know if you can even hear me, but you can watch this later if you want. All right, so I did not get a chance to review exactly. Hi, Russ. I did not get a chance to review exactly the expenses. Let me translate that into truth. My assistant who usually does that didn't show up today. So it wasn't done. I started working on it. I said, the heck with this. The difference is so small, I just can't be bothered. Our expenses are about my salary and all of the Social Security and all the things that come together with the salary is about $7,000 a month. So therefore, we spent about $21,000 on that this quarter. We have virtual assistants, about four or five, and so each of them, between all of them, we spend about 1,500 or more a month. Last quarter, we made a payout of a 13th month, so it was a little bit more. So actually, this quarter was probably less than that, maybe 4,000, something like that. Bina Kaplan is my bookkeeper. Our expense on her is about 2,000 shekels a month. That's about 6,000 shekels. That comes out to about $1,600. Our AWeber newsletter platform now is about $150 a month. They raised the price a little bit. Is somebody asking a question? And we have other small expenses and major expenses. I think this quarter we paid for tax preparation for our accountant, so that's another $800 or so, something like that. There was something else that it was maybe even more than that. I don't know. All right, I fired my accountant. And he didn't say this, but I had the vibe of him saying, "You can't fire me, I quit." I think that I was grandfathered in with a certain level of communication, which was not enough for me, but too much for him. So that's why he was happy to let me go, I think. The problem is that it's not so easy to find an accountant that is willing to have as much communication as I want. So if anybody, and also the fact is that the accountant that I was using, it was a one-stop shop for American nonprofit tax returns, American personal tax returns. That's me. Root Source doesn't pay for that, but maybe they even do. But I need to get it done anyway. Israeli company taxes and Israeli personal taxes, and they have people who could do all four of them. So I figured if they can do all four of them, then they all know what they're doing, and things can get done better and faster. But I discussed this with somebody else who explained to me, another accountant. She said it's not really true. Even though they all, as it were, sit in the same office, they don't really. They all sit at home, and they barely talk the same language, and they don't really talk to each other. Blah blah blah. And it might make a better more sense to find somebody that you like better, but only specializes in one thing, but interacts with the people that they have to interact with. Let's say, for example, American personal taxes and Israeli personal taxes. So if they interact with each other, then you'll be because if the American accountant has an Israeli accountant that they really like working with, then the communications between them are going to be good. Meanwhile, I think I sent in a request for a whatchamacallit, for a quote, a price quote. One guy sent it back. Kitzer, all this stuff is very distasteful for me. I do believe that Americans use TurboTax or something like that for like $100 a year or something like that. Maybe 200, not a lot of money. Here in Israel, it's like $1,000, $2,000 tax return. It's just crazy.
It's free this year if this is your first year to use it.
Well, yeah, but I'm very, 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 very hesitant to use something that I have to be the one that does the work. Even if bottom line is I'm submitting and I have to do the work to find the information that my accountant asked me for, and then they stick it into TurboTax or whatever application they use. It just is a lot more. Anyway, that's the way it is. So that is our expenses. So our quarterly expenses seem to be something about $30,000. Let's round that by 3 to make it $10,000 a month. You don't have to round it even. And that is approximately what we expect our expenses to be. Even less. Standard monthly expenses will jump to this, approximately 10,000. That's what I just said, right? Yes. So just 1 second, fee, go back to here. We will now say that if we open up the right document, that we just reviewed and approved, if you guys approve, the expenses tab that I gave it very short expenses, very, very simple. Everything, I might have left out something big. I don't think so. And I didn't go over the tiny things. And that's what we spend our money on.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we will review the balances. Here it comes. So we're down now in our Israeli bank account to about $4,000 in Israeli money, about $14,000 in American money. We have about $400 sitting in PayPal. I take that out usually at the end of the month, so I'll be taking it out in about a week. No money in Gumroad or Payoneer. If anybody has any questions about what these things are, they're various financial platforms like PayPal. Everybody's heard of PayPal. GiveButter is our fundraising platform through which we get our donations. As opposed to other platforms, they do not automatically send me money, and it's a little bit more of a headache to withdraw money from there. A tiny bit of a headache, not serious. And I don't mind. And if I'm not very thirsty or hungry for money, I don't mind letting it sit there for a while. I'm sure that there are other organizations that as soon as the dollar comes in, it's coming out. Mercury is my new bank. We replaced Row, and I have now $13,000 there. So this coming first of the month, within 30 days, I'm probably going to pay out about $13,000, which is why our total balances, including outgoing, is about $25,000. Not counting that 13, it's about $38,000. But of course, we have to spend that $13,000 on April 1st. May and June, we probably will only have to pay about $10,000. So that means that we are, unless we get an infusion, we have until April, May, June 30th to breathe. 3 months. Probably not even June 30th. In principle, if I work the month of June, then I will have to be paid on July 1st, even though we won't have money then. But Bezrat Hashem, we will have money, as I will discuss in a few minutes. I didn't, again, my assistant Joanna is getting towards the end of her maternity leave, I hope. Her 2.5-month-old son or something like that. His name is Henry, and she is trying her best to get ready. And so, but that is the bottom line as far as the balances are, and the real bottom line as far as how much money we have left. Any questions or comments?
Nope.
Okay. So back to review the snapshot of the balances. The board shall review and approve. Thank you very much. Now comes the board shall review and approve the following document. This is basically our activities of Q1. We've done conversations and media appearances with all these lovely people. We participated in various conferences and met some potential teachers and stayed on top of the industry, if I can use that terminology. Similarly, we're doing a lot of networking, meeting people in the States, Israel, and all over the world and Zoom in person. We continue to curate and deliver a weekly newsletter to about 12,000 percentage with an above average for industry average 25% open rate. Did I say too many words there?
Mhm.
1 second, let me add that in a Okay, I keep saying that, and anybody who here deals with newsletters might have heard that 25% is a pretty good open rate. But every time I think of that, it just drives me nuts. For God's sakes, I want to talk to you. I want to hear what you have to say. And Google and Gmail doesn't let me see it. Drives me nuts. Anyway, our friend Dan Elu's event honored Israeli activists in the Knesset, and we were invited. I had a personal meeting with the Speaker of the Knesset, Amir Ohana. I had two personal meetings with him. I focused on current events and global anti-Semitism. I also presented to him, I haven't gotten the pictures yet, I have to ask his assistant. I presented to him our The List series books. I have to put another couple of copies here so that I can grab them when I need them. We published The List 2023 in Israel in addition to on Amazon. And I don't think I have a single copy here. I have to get 5 copies. I attended the funerals of senior Israeli activists. I don't know if anybody here has heard of Olga Washington, a young woman who recently passed away very tragically, and Staff Sergeant Aviel Wiseman, who fell in action in Gaza. They were both Christians. So actually, Aviel was a Jewish believer. You all might have heard that I don't mean to offend anybody, but anybody who has any spiritual connection with Jesus or Yeshua is a Christian in my book. But I didn't feel close to his father. His father is an activist, Weissman Mordechai. But I felt that I wanted to go up there, and I met a bunch of people there also who felt similarly. I gave 2 talks in Beit Zera with our good friends from there, Chaim Mailspin, if anybody's ever heard of him. I am now, I did interviews with a certain Rabbi Eliyahu Dermer towards publishing this 94-year-old Holocaust survivor's autobiography. Let me click open that link so that you all can see it if you haven't yet. Let that open while I get back to this page, and we will get back to that. I met with the World Zionist Organization head Yaakov Chaguel, a friend of mine, regarding our heavier focus on the Holocaust and anti-Semitism teachings. I met with Luke Moon of the Philos Project, and I also participated in an event that he initiated here in Jerusalem. I want to write that in. And I met with the Dean of Hollis, the Jerusalem Institute of Languages and Humanities, who I had met at an interfaith event in Jerusalem the week before. I won't go into that in depth. I met with him face to face, therefore it was not recorded, but I hope in the future to do more things with him. These are the things that I've been doing, but these 2 lines I've been spending most time on besides administrative things. Okay, so I'll get to that more in a minute. Anybody have any questions, or maybe I forgot something real important, like maybe had a meeting with Al and Russ?
Well, you did interview a certain author about his book on Christian Zionism.
I skipped through this list up here. And it looks like I skipped it on purpose, so let me also stick in Al McCarn.
And I appreciate the interview, by the way.
And I appreciate it too. So now let me quickly go back to this next thing. Let me, first of all, if anybody here has not seen this page, then please fix that. Let me get this a little smaller so we can all see it. Translate a Holocaust survivor's memoir. Rabbi Eliyahu Dermer was born in 1930 in Romania, and today he lives in Gula Mea Shearim in Jerusalem. Between his birth and today, he has lived a fascinating life, which includes surviving the Holocaust, making Aliyah to the land of Israel, and befriending Christian supporters of Israel. In 2009, I think later than that, he wrote his autobiography in Hebrew. Earlier this year, Root Source CEO Gideon Ariel and his good friend Sharon Sanders of the Christian Friends of Israel visited Rabbi Dermer in a small apartment in Jerusalem. After a few questions, the rabbi sighed and said, "All of my stories are here in this book, but that memoir is unavailable for English speakers. With your help, Root Source will translate, edit, and publish Rabbi Dermer's autobiography for all the world to know. The first edition of this book will be in English and in Hebrew, but we are planning on publishing other languages, including German and Slovak. Supporters of this campaign will be listed in the book. Please help us reach this important goal so we can present Rabbi Dermer with a copy of this book later on this year on his 95th anniversary, birthday." And I'm very happy to show that we have reached 100% of our $7,000 goal. I will also share with you a little trick, and that is if I reach 100% of my $2,000 goal, I can up it to $5,000. And if I reach 100% of my $5,000 goal, I can up it to $6,000, etc. So I'm very grateful for that. And somebody just 3 hours ago made an $800 donation. I know that person is. It's somebody that gave a $100 donation a few weeks ago or months ago. I reached out to them like I reach out to people who even I get an out of office assistant message. I reach out to everybody who emails me at all, and I said, let's have a meeting. And this person was happy to have a meeting with me, and I met once or twice. And I had a feeling that they might up their donation from $100 here to $850. I'm pretty sure that they gave $850. You might be able to guess why, because we were up to 600 and 150, right? So they wanted to up us over to the 7,000. If it were 6150 with a goal of 9,000, she might have given 2,850. But I think that we shall see what happens. That's the way life is. Anyway, let me stop sharing the screen for a moment and tell you guys a story. I do believe that I spoke at length with Al and Russ yesterday. Armando, Dave, and other members of our advisory and executive board who will watch this afterwards, and anybody else who watches this because I upload it transparently on the website. After realizing how understandably thirsty the world is, and especially the Christian world, to help publish autobiographies of Holocaust survivors who are still alive. First of all, Rabbi Dermer, I saw how when people said, I'm publishing this, they said, what a great idea. I wish I could read that. It's only in Hebrew. I don't know Hebrew. And then as soon as I said I'm publishing in English, 2 people said, can I publish it in German? Can I publish it in Slovakian? So there's understandably a lot of thirst for this, because the youngest of the Holocaust survivors, they're pushing 90. So after that, I remembered that my father was a Holocaust survivor as well. And he was also interviewed by the Steven Spielberg project. And somebody helped me to find his 3-hour-long video interview. I hope I will be able to get permission to publish my own father's autobiography. If not,
That's
then
great.
I'll help. Pardon me, Dave?
That's great.
Yeah, I think so. I'll think if I will ask that foundation, because they are much more savvy than that Rabbi Derber about copywriting. So either they will let me or they won't. Either I will ask them first or I won't. Either I will use AI to totally jumble up my father's video that they made so it will be unrecognizable, or I won't. We'll see. I first want to finish the Rabbi Dermer project. I was hoping to finish it before Pesach because, in principle, his birthday is before Pesach, Passover. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to succeed in doing that, especially because I'm trying to include pictures in this book, and it's taking me a long time to prepare those pictures for the book, much longer than I thought. I recorded an hour and a half of him explaining every picture in his shoebox. I thought it would take me maybe 3 hours to simply write down for every picture what he said and decide what. It's just taking me forever. But it's a level, it's a whatchamacallit, a labor of love. Anyway, I came up with this idea that if people are so in love, are so enamored, whatever word, and here comes Charlie Elkins. Thank you for showing up, Charlie. We'll repeat for him a little bit as soon as he comes in. Hi, Charlie, are you there? You are on mute, and your beautiful face is
I'm here.
pictured.
I'm here.
Okay, so you're a little late for the finances. I will just summarize and say that we have about 3 more months to survive. But Bizrat Hashem, I'm now talking about a project that hopefully will get us out of that. Root sources projects, Charlie, as you know, are primarily to serve as a platform for pro-Israel Christians and Jews to engage with each other, primarily by studying the concepts, ideas, and texts that we have in common. We also publish many books, and we also do a lot of conversations, and we also do a whole bunch of other stuff. But recently we started specifically publishing the autobiography of a Holocaust survivor. Charlie, did you ever hear that? You are both muted and I can't see you, so I'll pretend that you maybe said something or that you're still here. In any case, as I was saying before you arrived, we are close to publishing a certain 94-year-old, very lucid, incredible rabbi, Holocaust survivor's autobiography. I would like, as I said, I was hoping to publish it before Passover, which is in about 2 weeks. 3 weeks, but I don't think I'm going to manage. But hopefully we'll publish it within a month or two afterwards. But since that is going over so well amongst Christians who are emotional and excited to be invited to sponsor the publication of information about Holocaust survivors, who without the publication of these of their biography would be lost to the ages. Can you imagine if we would have one more biography of somebody who went through the Inquisition? Incredibly important historical document. Now, today, Baruch Hashem, thanks to Steven Spielberg, we have tens of thousands of personal stories of Holocaust survivors. Thanks to Yad Vashem and I'm saying dozens, but I think maybe a few less significant Holocaust museums in the world, and of course, the United States Holocaust Museum. There's a lot of information about the Holocaust, but who knows if a certain speck of information that hadn't been published, how important that speck of information might be for somebody. And as we know, anybody who saves a single person is as if you saved the world. So therefore, I think that I agree with my supporters that this project is a very important project. And here comes the plan. the expected cost for us to publish each book will be approximately $5,000. That covers translation, covers interviews, it covers doing the project. De facto, for me to publish anybody's book usually costs about $5,000. So it's not a lot of money for this. I like working on a shoestring budget. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to individuals and to organizations and say, listen, if you can raise or donate $5,000, then each book, one book, if you do 5,000, 10 books, if you do 50, will right there on the front page, this book was underwritten by Christopher Robin. This book was underwritten by Cross River Church of Indiana. And that book, first of all, if it's in a church, then they can buy 500 books and give them out to their church people. But it's really bringing the Holocaust closer to these people. Now it's really Be'ezer Shumakom, in some way, a very time limited project. Now, Bezrat Hashem, my wife just celebrated her 60th birthday. I'm coming up to my 62nd birthday, I think, 63rd maybe. I hope to hang out here in Root Source for another 10, 20 years at least. And if not me, then somebody else. Just one second. I'll have to call her back. But if I am going to succeed in interviewing live Holocaust survivors like I'm interviewing Rabbi Dermer, then right now there are only about, according to my best understanding, 250,000 Holocaust survivors who are still alive. That first of all includes people who live in Russia. So there's no way that I'm going to interview somebody who lives in Russia. Bottom line, it's people who live in Israel. So I'm guessing there's about 120,000, maybe 200,000 survivors in Israel. How many of them am I going to be able to reach before they are not lucid? I don't know. My goal is to try to use the project that I just the other day started did the course, or the micro course, a 3-hour, can you call it a 3-hour course? a 3-hour introductory session to be an elderly person interviewer towards the publication of that elderly person's autobiography. But they've already published hundreds of such autobiographies. I think they don't have copyright on them, and I hope that they will like my idea if I approach those of whom are still alive and were Holocaust survivors, because they also interview stomp people, which is actually also an interesting project, frankly. You know, somebody who moved to Israel in 1948, even if they moved from I don't know where, from Greece, it doesn't matter. It's all interesting. But if I can find 100 people who I can say, here's your book, let me take a picture with you and let us publish your book in English. And if they say yes, then that saves me quite a bit of trouble. But in any case, as soon as I finish, first of all, Bezrat Hashem, my daughter is getting married in 2 weeks, and Pesach is in 2.5 weeks. So this is crunch time. If you think that April 15th is a date that you have to worry about, imagine Nissan 15. So unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to finish this project until then. But hopefully, I'll be able to finish the project mid-May. And then when I finish that, I will, and maybe even before that, I will start formulating the fundraising project. And hopefully, and what I'm going to do, I assume that some of you guys are familiar with the various online crowdfunding platforms like the ones that I use. What I haven't done so much until now, but I want to do now, is to do a team fundraising project, which means that if Cornerstone Church of Kentucky says we want to do a fundraising project so that our church will be able to sponsor one book. Okay, so that church will be a team. If Russ Smith says I have 30 friends or 50 friends, each one will give $100, I'll have $5,000, and that's what we'll do. Or somebody else will say $5,000, I can afford that. Here, take $5,000. Me and my husband will do it together. So if I get 100 people like that, to each aim to get $5,000 each, I might not raise $500,000 in 2 months, but I'll certainly raise $10,000 in 1 month. And that'll keep me going for another month. And hopefully I will succeed, in fact, in getting the $500,000. For those of you who like to hear it differently, that's $500,000. I like that word. And if people say, oh, drat, I missed it, I make it 101 books. And Bezrat Hashem will maybe even do 200. We shall see. I think that now this, of course, is taking me a little bit out, I wouldn't say my comfort zone. I'm very happy to do this, but I'm going to use a team to get this done, as of course I'm already doing for Rabbi Dermer's book. And I hope that I'll be able to continue to do various projects, including this one. There you go, sir. And no ladies tonight. Any comments or questions?
Love the idea.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we shall go back now to our shared screen. I'm b'chol זאת going to ask Charlie, you're there, right? If you can just say something, or maybe you're not there, just in case. Sometimes that's a little bit mivich, as they say. So back to our Charlie.
Yeah, I'm here.
Well, what do you think of that idea?
I think it's a wonderful idea. I mean, it's one of those things. My dad was a World War II veteran, and I wish so much I had captured more of his, history and everything. And, that was we call it the greatest generation, and that extends to those people that were, killed and those that survived in the Holocaust. And so I'm very much in favor of it.
Thank you very much. And thank you also first of all, thank you for mentioning your father and mentioning that phrase, the greatest generation. I'm sure all of us, have heard that phrase. And I'm already thinking the next step of publishing books, not only of Holocaust survivors, which, by the way, I'm not the only person who figured this out. Steven Spielberg himself enlarged his mission, not only Holocaust survivors, but other people of who survived all sorts of horrific things. And I'm thinking of maybe even creating an imprint or something like that. The greatest generation press or something like that to find people to publish these books. This is something that many organizations do. For-profit individuals and companies do this also for a much higher amount. So maybe we'll see what happens. So let me just quickly read this. Summary. After we successfully publish and launch Rabbi Dermer's autobiography, we'll publish Gidon's father's memoir, pending permission from the Spielberg Foundation, U.S. Shoah Foundation, and then launch the 100 Biographies project, the tentative name, pending agreement with Yad Sarah. That's the organization that published. So-called, they didn't really publish. They basically interviewed the people, then they typed it up on a piece of letter-sized paper and printed 5 copies. That's basically what they did. They didn't give it an ISBN number or anything. The aim is to recruit donors and organizations who will donate or raise $6,000 per book or block of books, 60,000 for 10 books, for example. This plan, with God's help, will hopefully set us up on confident financial footing for at least a year or two. Tov, I don't want to stop sharing. I want to get back to sharing. And whereas anybody else have anything else to add? Whereas no further business, therefore resolved, all the items and documents have been examined by all directors and approved and adopted, and these actions as far as they can ratify, approved, cabinet cooperation. No further business, meeting was adjourned. President affirmed today's date is March 25, right?
Yes.
Yes.
2025. And before you all leave, 1 second. Elon was not here. Dave was here. Whoops. Good. And Armando is here. And I will just add here, Charlie Elkins, with your permission,
Yep.
and Russ Smith. Okay, did I miss anybody? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Toda rabah, everybody.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, thank you, Gideon.
Shalom, shalom. Again, if anybody's going to be in Israel in 2 weeks, you're invited to my daughter's wedding. And since not enough people to my taste are taking me up on this, if you know anybody in Israel that you'd like to give a gift, I'm sending to my daughter's Orthodox wedding, then be in touch.
Okay.
All right.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
Thank you.